Radio check, radio check. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We should be live. We have got 640 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and welcome along to coverage for the Chinese Grand Prix. The pit lane exit has just opened up, and we're having all of the drivers make their way out of the pit lane now, and yeah, it's going to be good fun. All of them just making their way to the grid. They're going to do a couple of laps to get to grips with the circuit, and then we shall be underway for some racing. This is going to be a exciting sprint race. Of course, after yesterday's qualifying, which was super duper close, where we saw the gaps between the top three drivers between 1/10 of a second. That was this race is going to be very tight. All right. Yeah. So we're going to have 19 laps of racing for the sprint race. Lots of action to look forward to. Most likely, the drivers will be starting the sprint race on a set of medium tyres. The hard tyres will obviously last, but they're just not going to be optimal, to be honest, because you're not going to have the fastest possible race distance. So that is the thoughts as of now. By the looks of it, it's going to be the medium tyres that most of the drivers are going to be on. Oh my goodness me, we've already got 1,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in, folks. Yeah, if you do enjoy the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Really does help out the channel. All right. So as you can see, yeah, Lewis Hamilton has just made his way towards the grid. So is Gabriel Bortoletti behind him, and most of the other drivers either they'll be heading into the pit lane to do a couple more installation laps, or they'll be making their way immediately to the grid because they don't need any more installation laps. Everything is ready as they expect. Yeah. All right. So here we go then. What else have we got to look forward to? Well, of course, we've got the front two pairing, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. It is 2021 all over again, with these two starting on the front row. We've got Piastri in third place, Leclerc in fourth, Russell in fifth, Norris in sixth, and Antonelli in seventh. I mean, to be honest with you, after seeing the domination from McLaren last weekend in quali and how they were 4 tenths ahead of the competition, I was expecting McLaren to be right up there at the sharp end. But third place only, Lando Norris not having a great qualifying session. I mean, Piastri had quite a good lap, to be fair, but he was just very marginally off compared to Verstappen and Hamilton. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But their pace didn't look as good as it looked in Australia. So as I was saying, we are in for a very, very good season with competition right from the get go, and I have no idea who's going to win this race because Hamilton looked. It was a bit of a surprise winner for pole position. Verstappen looked like the car just wasn't very stable while he was driving it around. Wasn't doing exactly what he wanted it to do on the qualifying lap. So it seemed like Verstappen had some more pace in the car if the setup was correct. But of course, we know in sprint qualifyings, in sprint weekends, getting the setup perfect is very difficult. Only in the span of 1 hour. It is super duper tricky. Normally, the teams have loads of time to get the setup correct. However, the big thing that the teams normally have is that they'll do free practice 1, free practice 2, and then overnight, their test driver in the simulator back in the factory will work like round the clock to get the setup perfect, and then by the time it gets to FP3 on Saturday, they'll have a perfect setup. But in a sprint weekend, you've got no time for that. The drivers are out in FP1, and then the setup is finalized by the time you get to sprint qualifying. So no time for the test driver to work overnight, put in a huge shift and get the setup absolutely perfect. And because of that, we saw Max Verstappen's car not exactly as stable as he would have liked as he was driving around as he was driving around yesterday. So maybe the race performance is better, maybe the race performance is worse. We don't really know what that's going to be there. And then McLaren, of course, they were very good in the race last week. So I suspect they should have some pretty good race pace this weekend as well. And Ferrari as well. Ferrari, of course, earlier on in this set of regulations, they were great in qualifying, not so great in the race. Since last year, their race performance has also got a lot better. So it should be all right for Ferrari. They should be able to at least hang in there. So it's going to be a tough fight between Hamilton, Verstappen, and Piastri. Maybe Leclerc if he gets a really good start. Yeah. All right. Did you get any sleep F1 gamer? Well, to be honest, no, not that much. I am currently on 4.5 hours of sleep. Yesterday I was on 3.5 hours of sleep. So yeah, I'm gonna have a very big nap once actual qualifying is well, to be honest, I'm going to take a nap in between the sprint race and the actual qualifying, and then I'll have another nap after qualifying's over as well. So yeah. Okay, what happened with the Williams? I don't really know, to be honest. They looked really good, but you've also got to take this into account with the top four teams being as quick as they are. It's highly unlikely that you're going to see the Williams anywhere near the top eight. Like, of course, last weekend that happened because of it was the first race of the season. Antonelli didn't do so well. Neither did Lawson, and the Ferraris weren't all that strong as well. But I think Ferrari found their feet. They've perfected the setup that they require, and then Antonelli's also improved. Only Lawson's the only factor that hasn't improved. So the top seven places are already sort of reserved by the top teams, and then below that is where the Williams can come in. So there's Yuki Tsunoda, and then there's Alex Albon. Sainz had a bit of a bad lap, and that's why he got eliminated in Q2. So yeah, that's. I mean, they haven't done that badly, but yeah, Alex Albon is definitely best of the rest, alongside Yuki Tsunoda. All right. Hulkenberg starting from the pit lane. Maybe. The pit lane exit has closed. In fact, yes, Hulkenberg is starting from the pit lane exit. So I will just go and get some information about why Hulkenberg's starting from the pit lane. I suspect it'll just be either setup changes or just changes to the car, but pretty standard stuff, to be honest, for a sprint weekend like this. They probably just had a really bad setup. I mean, to be fair, Hulkenberg got out qualified by Bortoletto as well, which may have just been down to him not having a good setup. So we shall wait and see. All right, F1 Gamer, what are the rules for this weekend? Is there a race qualifying session as well, or the sprint results used for that? No, the sprint results are not used. We're going to have another qualifying session taking place at the end of well, in 3 hours' time after this. So that's what the rules are. Yeah, we are 20 minutes away till we are live for the sprint race. All right. Brilliant. That is fantastic. So here we go then. Okie dokes. I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I'll be back in just a second, folks. But this is going to be a fantastic race. I mean, let me know who you think is going to win. We've got a lot of questions in the chat. A lot of people have asked me, "Do you trust K1?" I think I fully, wholeheartedly trust K1. After seeing what Lewis Hamilton has done, I'm very sure that he used mode K1 to get this pole position. Yeah, and maybe we'll have some maximum attack from Max Verstappen, and we'll see what Piastri will do. But yeah, this first lap is going to be super duper interesting. DRS will be enabled very soon, and along this straight, this circuit is fantastic for racing, especially with the help of DRS. And yeah. All right. Let's wait and see then. Okie dokes. Track conditions, it is looking 35-degree track temperature, 22 degrees air temperature. The wind 4.7 kilometers an hour, so a lot less windy than it was yesterday, which is a good thing because a lot of the drivers were having issues yesterday. Snaps of the rear, snaps of the front here and there, loads of sort of unpredictability in the car. But yeah, with the wind sort of dying down a little bit, that should be very, very helpful for the drivers, especially the rookies, to be able to control the car, not spin out. Um, yeah. All right. And track temperature 35 degrees, that's around about the middle of what we had yesterday. We had temperatures varying from 33 to 38, so 35 degrees, bang in the middle, and the drivers should be fine. Okay. Dude, you should stay 3 to 5 minutes after the session and talk with chat. Honestly, I would love to. However, the issue with that is, I mean, like obviously it's obviously fine. Like I can talk, but the YouTube algorithm doesn't particularly like it. Like I won't get into fully explaining why because it's quite complicated. I've spent the past 4 years understanding the YouTube algorithm, but it really doesn't particularly like it. And yeah, so that is the reason why I stop, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, there are still people in chat talking about what's going on. Yeah. Okay. What do you think is going to happen to Lawson, folks? Is he going to start from 19th place, make up some places, potentially make his way towards the top 10, or is he still going to be struggling to overtake Ocon and the Alpines and Hadjar? I mean, it would be embarrassing, really, for Liam Lawson to finish behind both RBs. I think, Sergio Perez wasn't that great, but at least he finished ahead of one of the Racing Bulls. Liam Lawson, if he ends up behind both of them, I don't know if that's the best look for him. Um, yeah, we shall wait and see. Maybe they want Franco Colapinto in there. Maybe they want to sign Valtteri Bottas. So we shall wait and see what Red Bull do. But yeah, I mean, maybe they'll put Isaac Hadjar in and once again destroy Isaac Hadjar's career because if they switch Lawson at the halfway point of the season, they're going to switch him with Hadjar, and Hadjar will not be ready to going up against Max Verstappen. He's not at the stage of his career where he is prepared to fight against a 4-time world champion, which means that his career will be destroyed in the exact same way that Gasly's and Albon's was when they went alongside Max Verstappen in 2019. And yeah, I mean, it should have been Yuki Tsunoda. Maybe they will promote Yuki Tsunoda, but there's been a lot of internal politics at Red Bull, and they haven't been treating Yuki as they should have, and maybe that'll just continue. We shall have to wait and see. Horner said the car is specifically built for Max. I mean, maybe it is. But Red Bull, honestly, if it's specifically built for Max, then maybe they should change the name from Red Bull Racing to Max Verstappen Racing, because clearly no one else on the grid can drive it. It's just Max Verstappen. So yeah, might as well rename Red Bull to Red Bull Max Verstappen Racing, and then only enter one car into the constructors. Like, don't know what is going on here with Red Bull, but they have really got to sort themselves out. Because, for example, let's just consider that in 2026 that Red Bull isn't the fastest team, and let's say Aston Martin is, because Adrian Newey has cooked up a fantastically quick car. And Verstappen gets a contract offer from Aston Martin for like £100 billion. Right, it won't be 100 billion, it'll be like 100 million. But let's say they get that. Then what are Red Bull going to do? Their entire car has been designed around Max Verstappen, who will potentially leave them. And once Max Verstappen leaves Red Bull are going to be totally and utterly cooked. Like, there is nothing that they'll be able to do because their car's designed for the wrong driver, for a driver that no longer is driving for them, and it seems like nobody else on the grid can drive the car. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do, but we shall wait and see, and if they can fix the car overall so Lawson can drive it, or will it just continue to be a Max Verstappen only situation. Okay, yeah, like Honda in MotoGP, that was the thing. Yeah, blubbery walrus. That is a very good comment. I don't know which driver it was, but there was one driver that was driving with Honda in MotoGP, and because they were so good, like because the driver was so good, Honda didn't realize how bad they were. And then after the driver left, it became very, very clear that Honda were like one of the worst teams in MotoGP. But nobody realised because their driver was so good and they had such a good driver pairing. Mark Marquez, that was it. Um, yeah, Mark Marquez. Um, so that is that might be a replacement scenario of what happens in at Red Bull. Okay, who would lead the sprint after lap 1 T1? Honestly, knowing the record between Hamilton and Verstappen at turn number 1 scenarios, I am 100% prepared for Max Verstappen to send one down the inside, especially at this turn number 1. It is so, so easy. To send a move down the inside at this turn and one. It's so wide. There are so many different racing lines that you can take. I would not put it past Max Verstappen to send one down the inside. In fact, I'm prepared for him to start arranging his car because Lewis Hamilton's going to have the outside line. He's starting on the left-hand side of the grid. Verstappen's starting on the right-hand side of the grid. I'm prepared for Max Verstappen to start pointing his car ever so slightly left to immediately cut off Lewis and hopefully get a good start. That'll be the plan for Max Verstappen. All right, 19 laps of racing. So once again, I do suspect it will be medium tyres for the drivers today. The hard tyres will of course take them to the end of the sprint race, but it's unlikely that they're going to have as much grip as the medium tyres over the course of 19 laps, and they won't have as much pace either. And yeah. Is the left-hand side of the grid the clean side? Not really, because sort of when you exit turn number 16, the right-hand side of the grid is where you exit, but then the left-hand side of the grid, the left-hand side of the track is where you want to be for the entry of turn number 1. There's no sort of clean side of the grid because the drivers sort of go across the track. Yeah, so if you had to pick a clean side of the grid, it would be the right hand side, rather than the left hand side, because a lot of drivers pick sort of a straight line to go to the start finish line and then cut across after the start finish line, towards so they're on the left hand side for turn number 1. So maybe Max Verstappen has the slight advantage for a slightly cleaner side of the grid, but it's not going to be a big difference, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, so let's explain why this circuit is absolutely fantastic for a sprint race around here. I mean, fantastic for just some racing, to be honest. So we have the drivers here. They'll be on their way, on the first lap of the race, going around, and they'll do the full lap, right? And then DRS will get enabled, and the drivers that are within 1 second of DRS coming down this back straight here. Firstly, they're going to gain so much time as they go down the back straight towards the hairpin. And let's just consider they don't get the overtake done towards the hairpin. They just get super duper close. Then in the hairpin, they get a good exit, and they do the exact same thing through turn number 16. Then they get DRS coming down this corner, coming down this straight here. They're side by side going to turn number 1. There are about 5 different lines that the drivers can take throughout turn number 1, 2, and 3 to try and overtake each other, which is going to be fascinating to watch, seeing which lines are taken by which drivers and how successful they are. But yes, the drivers will be pretty much side by side through turn 1, 2, and 3, and once again they'll continue down the hill, flat through turn number 4, flat through turn number 5, and then heading towards turn number 6, still side by side. And then as they head towards turn number 7, then they'll have to squeeze one another out and get into single file as they go through turn number 7, 8, and 9. So the drivers are probably going to be side by side for the entire first sector, because they're going to get close using the DRS on the back straight, then they're going to get side by side using the DRS on the main straight, and then they're going to stay side by side racing against each other through turn 5, 6. Well, to turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is going to be fantastic to see. So I cannot wait. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the sprint race. After the sprint race, we will have another qualifying session, and this will be the qualifying session for the actual race. So the sprint qualifying that we had yesterday was only for the sprint race, and it's not going to be used anywhere else. And the results of this sprint race also aren't going to be used anywhere else. We're going to have a totally brand new qualifying session for the race starting positions tomorrow. F1 Gamer 6 hours of Imola predictions. Honestly, I don't know that much about WEC, so I would not be able to give you any sort of predictions. To be honest, I should really look into WEC a little bit more, but as of now, don't particularly have all that much knowledge about it. Right, I have blocked adverts, so hopefully you guys aren't getting any adverts from YouTube. Do let me know if something does come up, but I'm doing my best to block every single advert that YouTube's trying to throw at you guys. Yeah, that will be that's the plan for the rest of the session. Fantastic. We are already on 500 likes, 600 likes. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It really helps out the channel, especially before the start of the stream, before the start of the race. We are 8 minutes away from getting underway for the formation lap, and then we'll be underway for the race. We're getting the radio checks coming through, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen. Oliver Behrman, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, they're all getting the radio checks loud and clear. Fantastic. Yeah, are they using the medium tyres today? Most likely that is the case. We'll get the tyre information coming through in around about 5-6 minutes time, just a minute or two before the start of the formation lap. That's when we'll get the tyre info. When is qualifying? Qualifying will be taking place 4 hours from now. So whatever time it is in the world right now for you guys, if you go 4 hours into the future, that is when qualifying will be starting. So, 4 hours and 8 minutes. Yeah, fantastic. Let's wait and see then. Okie dokes. So, Nico Hulkenberg starting from the pit lane, all of the other drivers getting their radio checks in place and getting ready to go racing. Williams have been fined €50,000 after a camera infringement in China. Right, that is interesting. I don't know exactly what's going on there. Oh, interesting. Okay, so there has been a requirement to have video footage following the technical directive that they sent in March 19th, so not too long ago, saying that they need to be able to monitor the flexibility of the bodywork. So basically, they're just saying monitor the flexibility of DRS and the rear wing and stuff like that. And the cameras, I think, weren't fitted properly, and they weren't fitted with an empty SD card. And yeah, the team thought the SD cards would come from the FIA. They didn't, and apparently the teams were meant to supply their own SD cards, and Williams had forgot about that, or something along those lines. And Williams have been found €50,000. Yeah. Really unfortunate, but I'm sure they have 50,000 lying around. Yeah. All right. What are your top 5 sprint predictions? I'm honestly going to go with the current top 5 that there is right now. However, I suspect their positions are going to be rearranged. I'm not going to be able to tell you what positions they're going to be, because if I could tell you, then I'd have a crystal ball predicting the future, and I would have placed a bet already. Okay. I don't think you need to include Lawson on the fastest lap count. That is a good point. But for completeness' sake, just in case something ridiculous happens, we shall keep him there. Yeah, who do you think will have the most number of fastest laps? Will it be Max Verstappen trying to chase down Lewis Hamilton? Will it be... it might just be the driver in the lead of the race, to be honest, who spends the most laps in the lead with the clean air. Yeah. All right. Okay, then 5 minutes till we get underway for the start of the race. Cannot wait for some more action. Brilliant. So, not too much going on really. We'll get the tire information coming through very very shortly, and Pirelli have increased the minimum pressures that will be allowed for the tires this weekend. So that's going to affect the tire management, because the pressures that the teams will have been using for FP1, where they were gathering, their long run data, that's going to be, well, not as accurate as they would have hoped for. However, it's not going to be too bad for the teams, because they are going to have 19 laps of racing for the sprint race, and that's going to give them enough information about the long run performance of the medium tires. So, yeah. Also, folks, if you guys are interested, there is a link to F1 TV Pro in the description of the chat, description of the stream. In fact, I'm going to post the link to F1 TV Pro just in the chat here. But yeah, if you guys are interested, go ahead and check it out, and you get all of the coverage, all of the onboards, all of the team radios, and if you get F1 TV Premium, then you get everything in 4K as well. So go ahead and check that out. Of course, we're going into the start of the season pretty much, so if you get the full yearly membership, you get access to everything for the whole season. Yeah. Oh, you guys aren't getting notifications. That is a little bit strange. I mean, I guess if you guys don't get notifications, maybe switch off the notifications from YouTube and then turn them back on again, for the channel. Maybe that will help. But yeah, that's a little bit strange, to be honest. All right. So here we go then. Someone, I got the notification for usual. Fair enough. Maybe not then. Bro, did the FIA see the mini DRS features on the McLaren itself? Yes, they did. There have been some issues with the FIA basically saying the stiffer rear wings have to come in immediately. So the rules, what were going to come in, was on the 9th race of the season, so the Spanish Grand Prix. That is when the drivers were going to be allowed. That's when the stiff, what's it called? The stiff rear wings were going to be enforced. Like the FIA were like, okay, after the Spanish Grand Prix, you're not allowed to have any flexible DRS. However, or like mini DRS or any flexible rear wings, anything of that type. However, the FIA have now changed their decision and said, actually, this is getting too ridiculous right now, where you're not allowed to have any flexible rear wings after the Chinese Grand Prix. So right now, the Chinese Grand Prix mini DRS has been disallowed by the FIA, meaning that maybe the drop in performance that we saw from McLaren might have purely been down to the mini DRS. That is... that's potentially what it is. Maybe it's just a bad weekend for McLaren. Like we cannot be certain, but that is that could be a conclusion that you come to. Yeah, Nico Hülkenberg's suspension has been adjusted there. They just modified his race setup because it was so bad for FP1, for the qualifying, that he wasn't going to take part. He wasn't going to do the race properly, and he was going to be starting from the back anyway. So we might as well change the setup and then start right from the back. So that is the reason Hülkenberg is starting from the pit lane, just a new setup for him. And now let's get underway for the formation lap. 1 minute and 20 seconds till we get underway for the formation lap. I will take you guys throughout the through the starting grid very, very shortly, and I'll take you through a lap of the circuit as well. So in fact, let's go through a lap of the circuit. We have got, of course, this main start-finish straight, which DRS is available for. The drivers go into turn number 1, 2, and 3. This is one of the few corners on the Formula 1 calendar where the drivers still take different racing lines for pretty much every other corner in Formula 1 on the calendar. The drivers take the exact same lines each, maybe the minorest of tweaks between everyone's lines. But turn number 1, 2, and 3, we're seeing loads of different lines. Hamilton and Leclerc taking different lines, even though they're in the exact same car. So really good action that we're going to see through turn number 1, 2, and 3. Lots of overtaking side by side. Then the drivers head towards turn number 6. There's another real great overtaking opportunity. No DRS through here, but the drivers will most likely be side by side as they exit turn number 3, heading towards turn number 6. The drivers do have to go single file through 7 and 8. It's just one of those parts of the circuit where single file is practically necessary. Then they get onto the power through turn number 9, hopefully flat through there, and then turn number 12. Look at that, a huge right-hander. Turn number 1, a huge right-hander. The front left tyre takes an absolute beating at this circuit. A huge tyre wear on the front left, and the drivers will have to be very careful that they don't wear them out too much. And then, of course, they get onto the throttle, huge DRS zone down the back straight here. And if the drivers aren't already side by side going into the hairpin, then they will be after they come back onto the main start finish straight and go into turn number 1. So, formation lap is underway, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just get rid of this timer on the side of the screen. And here we go. We've got 7,000, 8,000 people tuned into the live stream. Be sure to hit the like button, folks. Hopefully, we can get to 1,000 likes before the start of the sprint race. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We have got, we're currently the biggest live streaming channel on YouTube for Formula One. So that is fantastic. And we'll be underway for the race in no time. Okay. Yeah, so here we go then. We'll go through the starting grid. We've got Nico Hülkenberg starting from the pit lane, then Liam Lawson starting from the back of the pack. Oh, why is Hülkenberg coming out the back of the pit lane? That is interesting. I think he's just going to go back into the pit lane at the end of the formation lap, to be honest. But I think he's allowed to do the formation lap. There might have been a slight rule change this year. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, Hülkenberg's out from the exit of the pit lane. Okay. So, yeah, we've got Hülkenberg starting from the pit lane, Liam Lawson in 19th position, then we've got Esteban Ocon in 18th place. The Haas car isn't looking all that great, but Behrman doing better than Ocon, which is a bit of a surprise considering Behrman is a rookie. The same thing happening down at Alpine, Doohan outperforming Pierre Gasly for 16th place instead of 17th. Then we've got Isaac Hadjar in 15th place. He is a little bit further behind compared to Tsunoda, but Tsunoda, very experienced driver, especially in that RB, so I wouldn't expect anything different. Then Gabriel Bortoleto, great qualifying session from him. He out-qualified Hülkenberg yesterday. Carlos Sainz, a bit of a bad quali for him, made a mistake on his lap and then couldn't make it through into Q3. Then we've got Oliver Behrman in 12th place, great quali from him. Alonso getting out-qualified by Stroll, not something that you see every single day. And Stroll in 10th position. Then we've got Albon in 9th, Yuki Tsunoda in 8th, Kimi Antonelli in 7th position. He'll be looking to score some solid points there and end up in the top 8. Of course, the points for a sprint race, it's 8 points for the driver in first place, 7 points for the driver in second, 6 points for the driver in third, and so on and so forth, all the way till you get down to 1 point for the driver in 8th place. Then we've got Lando Norris in 6th position. Bit of a bad quali. He's been making quite a few mistakes over the course of free practice 1 and the qualifying sessions. So, yeah, not a great lap that he put together for yesterday. Then we've got George Russell in 5th place. He'll be looking to potentially get up onto the podium. Same thing for Charles Leclerc, who's in 4th. We've got Piastri in 3rd, Verstappen in 2nd, and Hamilton in 1st. The top 3 within 1/10 of a second of each other in the qualifying session yesterday. But we have got the last car approaching the grid. Nico Hülkenberg re-enters the pit lane, and we shall be underway for some racing very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 11,000 people watching. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the like button. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing. This is going to be one hell of a Grand Prix. So 19 laps of a sprint race around the Chinese Grand Prix circuit. The last car has approached the grid. We have got all 19 cars there on the circuit. They are all revving away. The safety car and the medical car is on already as well. The green flag is waving. We are underway for some racing. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton going into turn number 1. Hamilton gets a great launch through turn number 1 and maintains his lead as he goes into there. And now let's wait and see what we can do further down back at the behind. Antonelli loses quite a few positions. He manages to recover and hold on to 8th place. Sonoda are up into 7th, but the top 6 maintaining positions from the start of the Grand Prix. Thank you for the donations there for us. It's lights out and away we go. Indeed, Nico Hulkenberg joins the back of the pack from the pit lane, and Max Verstappen doing his utmost best to now stay within DRS range. They're over the radio already to Lewis Hamilton to say Verstappen is 0.7 behind, and well, this is it. All eyes are between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Are we going to have a repeat of 2021? We've had so many fantastic battles between these drivers. Piastri's already dropped off the back of Verstappen for some DRS. We'll wait and see if he'll be able to gain that time back down the straight. Otherwise, he's going to be under pressure from Charles Leclerc very, very soon. Lando Norris as well. He lost some places off the race start. In fact, 3 positions lost there for Lando Norris. Not a great start for him. And Piastri's already under pressure from Charles Leclerc. All right, Hamilton is the leader, and oh, look at that. We've got George Russell sends an overtake down the inside of Charles Leclerc. Huge DRS, huge advantage from George Russell from the slipstream, and Leclerc loses the place. DRS not enabled on this lap as of yet. It'll be enabled on the following lap, and then we'll get the drivers getting all of the benefits of the slipstream. But Russell making that overtake on Charles Leclerc has compromised himself, because that gap now is that gap between himself and Piastri, 1.7 seconds. Leclerc is going to be all over him, and as they head towards turn number 6, let's wait and see what Leclerc can do. DRS has been enabled on this lap, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the mistake just earlier. So as the drivers exit turn number 11, DRS is going to be enabled, and look at that gap. It's 9/10 of a second. Hamilton doing his absolute best. He's going to be using K1. He's going to be using overtake mode to break the DRS, but Max Verstappen's going to be doing the same. He's going to be using Strat 7 on the Red Bull power unit. He's going to be using every single ounce of overtake button that he's got to stay within this DRS range. He's got half a tenth of a gap, half a tenth of leeway, and I think he has just got the DRS detection point. Here they are coming through turn number 11. The driver's very careful not to overheat the front left tyre, otherwise it could spell big trouble for them later on in the race. And here they are coming down the DRS zone. Does Max Verstappen have DRS? Verstappen doesn't. Verstappen doesn't get it by the finest of margins. Does not have DRS coming down the straight. He's still gaining via the slipstream, but no DRS there for Max Verstappen. That has been a huge win for Lewis Hamilton off the start of this race. Going into lap number 3, it looks like that he's going to be maintaining the lead of the race. Charles Leclerc, however, does have DRS, and George Russell is going to be under some serious pressure. We've had Alex Albon is that... Carlos Sainz to get ahead of Pierre Gasly. Nice overtake there from Carlos Sainz going into the hairpin. Fastest lap of the race there for Lewis Hamilton. All right, time to update this fastest lap counter. We've got Hamilton up with 1 fastest lap. And let's see what the rest of the drivers can do. Can they catch him? All right. Yeah, good start to the race, but honestly, this is what I'm saying. A slight mistake, a slight twitch of the rear as he comes out of turn number 9, and Verstappen is going to be all over the back rim. And I'm sure Verstappen has still got battery left, still trying to get within that DRS range. Look at that gap. He's just dipped under 1 second. If you can just hold it there as he enters turn number 11, that is the DRS detection point on this circuit. And if he can still hold within DRS, oh, just look at that. It's so close. Will he get it as he crosses through the detection point? Unfortunately, again, look at that, 44 milliseconds too far out to get DRS on this occasion by the looks of it. And 44 milliseconds, that is Lewis Hamilton's number, of course. Sonoda's got DRS on Leclerc. Leclerc's dropped DRS off George Russell. The top 5, the top 6, all losing their DRS from each other. Interesting. But I don't know what's going on with Lando Norris, to be honest. He is dropped off the back of Lance Stroll and unable to overtake him. So maybe the mini DRS ban has really come to bite McLaren in the back, and they're not going to have particularly good performance going forward from this. We'll just have to wait and see. We've got 14,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a huge pleasure commentating to you guys. I'll be commentating the qualifying later today, and of course the race tomorrow as well. Let's wait and see what Max Verstappen can do, but look, he's still 46 milliseconds behind Hamilton. Hamilton doing his absolute best to keep ahead of Verstappen and keep out of DRS range. That is the key thing. I don't know what is going on with Norris. But sooner or later, he's got to try and mount a move on Stroll. But the issue is Stroll's going to have DRS off Antonelli. In fact, Stroll's just dropped DRS of Antonelli. So this could be the opportunity for Norris to actually get DRS off Stroll, but never mind. Norris has also lost DRS off Stroll. This is going to be a interesting battle here. Look at this, Nico Hülkenberg, purple in the first sector. Everyone else will have already started tyre management. As you can see, folks, all of the drivers, they have used their tyres before they started this race. It's not a fresh set that they're using for the race. We've only done 4 laps of racing, but as you can see, Hamilton has got 9-lap-old tyres. Verstappen has got 6-lap-old tyres. So they're already going into tyre conservation mode because the front left tyre, as we all know around this circuit, takes a huge, huge beating. So let's wait and see. Hülkenberg, by the looks of it, is the only driver that is pushing that hard. Yeah, Verstappen now within DRS, but once again, no DRS as he goes down the main straight. He's always out of DRS for the detection point. Hamilton playing this very, very smartly. He knows exactly where these detection points are. He knows exactly the gap behind him to Verstappen, and he just makes sure every single time that Verstappen doesn't get the DRS. But if there's the slightest of little slip-ups, then who knows what will happen. All right. Is it an 8th title? Yeah, we shall have to wait and see. It's going to be a tough battle either way. I'm not going to say Hamilton's going to have an easy fight going up to getting his 8th title. It'll be Hamilton versus Verstappen, Hamilton versus Verstappen versus Piastri versus maybe Russell. We'll just have to wait and see. Liam Lawson has got an overtake done. He's in fact had a bit of contact with Jack Doohan there as he goes for an overtake. But Liam Lawson up from 18th position, up from 19th position up into 18th position. A good overtake, but still nowhere near enough progress. Not enough progress from Lawson, to be honest. He should be making up a lot more places given that he is in that Red Bull. Okay, once again, look at that gap, ladies and gentlemen, 1.026 seconds. Hamilton is doing a fantastic job at managing this one. Yeah, this could be an interesting one. Lawson's incident on Doohan, that has been noted. Doohan, in fact, trying to re-overtake Liam Lawson here as they go into turn number 14, sorry, the hairpin. We've got Isaac Hadjar tried to overtake Gabriel Bortoletto. Loads of action going on there at the back of the pack. Lawson managed to stay ahead of Doohan and defend against him going into the hairpin. And, look at this gap. Piastri has got within DRS range of Max Verstappen. Verstappen might have pushed a little bit too hard, might have overheated his tyres a little bit too much. And that gap between Verstappen and Hamilton, 1.4 seconds. Gap between Verstappen and Piastri, 0.9. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're going to have a battle between Verstappen and Piastri for second place rather than Verstappen and Hamilton for first place. This is interesting. Don't know what happened to Norris at the start. Just had a bad start. Piastri didn't have the greatest starts either. I mean, to be honest, it was a very typical Lando Norris start, except that Lando Norris wasn't on pole position this time. He was starting in 6th place and ended up dropping back down into 9th. So a very typical Lando Norris start, but you would expect him to do that if he was on pole position, not if he was in 6th place. But Piastri, he's now got DRS here on Max Verstappen, and he will be gaining towards turn number for the hairpin. However, look at that gap, 0.9 of a second now. So he's going to have DRS once again going down the main straight now. Instead of Max Verstappen looking forward, trying to catch up to Lewis Hamilton, he's going to be looking in his mirrors, making sure Piastri isn't sending a dive bomb down the inside into turn number 1. And Hamilton might get away with this one. This is the most critical phase, make sure that you break DRS in the first couple of laps. And yeah. Oh, they've come over the radio. Max has come over the radio saying gap it to 0.8. What do you want me to do? Oh no, they came over the radio to Verstappen saying the gap to 0.8, and then Verstappen's replied, "What do you want me to do?" Like Verstappen clearly not happy, and he's just like, "What do you want me to do?" Like, I can't do anything about this. So Yeah, it's not looking good here. They've already Norris is struggling with his front left tire graining. Russell's struggling with his front left tire graining. Piastri is probably still struggling with his front left graining. However, he's got bigger issues at hand. The gap between himself and Max Verstappen, the closest it has ever been as they head towards turn number 11 on this circuit. And we've got Gabriel Bortoleto, Isaac Hadjar getting super duper racy, and a fantastic overtake there from Isaac Hadjar by the looks of it. Sorry. Apologies there. No, Bortoleto is still ahead of Isaac Hadjar, but Hadjar is trying every which way, trying to go around the left side, around the right side, but nothing is working. Bortoleto, solid defense from him. And of course, Bortoleto and Hadjar, no strangers to battling each other. Last year in Formula 2, they were battling for first and second place in the championship. All right. Oh, Max has got DRS on Hamilton. I don't know what's going on here. Hamilton might have made a mistake, but Verstappen firmly within DRS of Lewis Hamilton, and this has just saved him by the looks of it. He was coming under more and more pressure from Piastri. Hamilton's made a mistake. Verstappen's got DRS, and look at that gap. It's already down to half a second. This is going to be brilliant. Lando Norris over the radio complaining. He's complaining quite a bit, saying his tires are not working. He needs help. He needs focus. He needs to, focused help from his engineers, saying, conserve your tires around this corner, lift around this corner. Hamilton's come over the radio saying graining on the left front. I mean, everyone's graining on the left front, but nobody's gap has dropped by half a second in the span of two corners. Max is right on the back there. Piastri's dropped off the back as well. Piastri unable to keep up with the gap getting smaller and smaller. So here they go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the closest they've been coming out of turn number 11. Front left graining for Lewis Hamilton. It's not looking good. All of the drivers are having front left graining, but now Max Verstappen firmly within that DRS, 8.5 tenths as he exits the final corner, and he's tucked into the slipstream. The DRS is going to be wide open as they head towards turn number 11. That gap reduces 1 tenth by 2 tenths of a second, 3 tenths of a second as they hit the brakes for the hairpin. And now as they go towards turn number 1, we have got a duel on our hands. Ladies and gentlemen, who do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be Verstappen coming out of this race in first place? Is it going to be Lewis Hamilton? Or are they going to take each other out and Piastri is going to get the race, the sprint race win? Let's wait and see. Okay, 3.5 tenths, 4 tenths is the gap as they go into turn number 1. Verstappen is getting very, very close. And they're coming over the radio to Charles Leclerc. 11 laps left of this race. Russell, a lap time of 36.7. And Leclerc not able to match that. 3 tenths off the back of Russell's lap time on the previous lap. Antonelli got overtook by Tsunoda. Tsunoda doing a brilliant job. Once again, showing Red Bull up, telling them that he should have been the second Red Bull driver, not Liam Lawson. And up in 6th place there for Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, that's exactly where you'd expect Liam Lawson to be. But Yuki Tsunoda's there, even though he's in the Red Bull car, the Racing Bulls car, the V car, but rather than the Red Bull. Let's wait and see. Verstappen not happy over the radio, I suspect. Let's have a listen. Let's have a look. What is Verstappen saying? You can play with the lines, but don't let that result in a net slip. I don't know exactly what that means, but I suggest that just means you can play with the different racing lines that you're taking, but don't let that cause losses in lap time. And that was 1 second, no DRS. Verstappen's lost DRS there. The drivers they're all a little bit too concerned with the tyre wear. Normally we see the lap times decreasing as more and more laps are done, but this is not the case. The lap times are going up and up because all of the drivers are so focused on tyre wear that they're forgetting to do racing, to be honest. They're forgetting to race. And all right, let's wait and see. We've got Isaac Hadjar here just getting ahead of Pierre Gasly. A fantastic job. He got ahead of Bortoleto a couple of laps ago. He's now got ahead of Pierre Gasly. Some solid progress here from Isaac Hadjar. and he's up into 14th place, one position higher than where he started. But Gazzy's re-overtook him in going into turn number 1. Gazzy having absolutely none of it. Round the outside he goes, Pierre Gasly. What a move from him. And can Hadjar get this one? Can he defend against this one? We've got Liam Lawson going around the outside of Gabriel Bortoletto. That could be another move here for Liam Lawson. Can he get it done and dusted as they go into turn number 6? Goes defensive against Gabriel Bortoletto. Gets that overtake done. Nice job there from Liam Lawson. Lawson now behind Isaac Hadjar, the driver in the VCARB, the sister Red Bull team. We'll see if he can get an overtake done. But Hadjar is looking extremely racy, and his battle with Gazzy is just going to get more and more intense. Gap up at the front once again. We've had a repeat. The DRS has been broken. The gap has increased, and Piastri now is all eyes on Max Verstappen. Verstappen now, he's going to be looking back in his mirrors. There's a bit of debris that has flown off. Flown off one of the cars going down the main straight on the previous lap. I've just got a replay. I can't tell which car it is, but one of the drivers has got damage. Someone has got damage. I don't know if it's a floor or a side pod or a front wing, but something has gone astray there. We're on lap number 11 of this sprint race. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. We've got 18,000 people tuned into the coverage. That is absolutely fantastic. Hopefully we can hit 2,000 likes. That would be brilliant, ladies and gentlemen. But now, eyes up at the front. We've got Piastri versus Max Verstappen. What is it going to be? Which driver is going to come out ahead? That gap is the closest it's ever been. 0.4 of a second as they exit turn number 6. I mean, the dirty air's not going to help Piastri out through turn number 7 and 8. Those are pretty high-speed corners, and he's going to be getting quite a lot of understeer. But let's wait and see. With 9 laps left to go, surely the drivers can start pushing a little bit more, not worry too much about the tyres. We shall just have to wait and see. But I think Piastri is getting closer and closer. And here they go then, out of turn number 11. Max Verstappen versus Oscar Piastri. It is, I think, the 4th time that they've all been within DRS here. Okie dokes. Piastri activates that DRS flap. Gap is 0.7 of a second when he activates it, and that gap is reducing and reducing and reducing. They're over the radius of Max Verstappen saying the gap's 0.8. He's got to keep his eyes peeled. Half a second is the gap now on the exit of the hairpin. If he can get a good exit out of the final corner, this could spell trouble for Max Verstappen. All right, Stroll is cooking. Is Stroll cooking? I mean, he's just maintained his 8th place, but he's somehow managed to keep Lando Norris behind him. In fact, Norris is 3.5 seconds behind Stroll, and he's really struggling with the tyre wear there. Isaac Hadjar gets ahead of Carlos Sainz. What a move by Isaac Hadjar. Lawson as well, trying his luck against Carlos Sainz, and he gets the overtake done as well. They're saying box to Carlos Sainz. It seems like Sainz was the driver that got damage, and that's why Carlos Sainz coming into the pits. Maybe he's just going to retire. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, Carlos Sainz has been called into the pit lane. Unfortunate for Carlos. Right. Alright, we have got Piastri still within DRS here. I mean, honestly, the drivers are just in so much of a tyre conservation mode. We're not really getting that much racing. We are getting racing back at the back. Hadjar still trying to overtake Gasly, and we've got Lawson. He's going to be doing his best as well to try and get ahead of Isaac Hadjar. At least finish ahead of one Racing Bull, rather than finishing behind both of them. Yeah. All right, here they go then. Barreling down the start-finish straight, Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri reaching 330 k's just before they slam onto the brakes at the 100-meter mark. And Piastri is within that DRS, but he is just not gaining enough on Max Verstappen to get close enough for a move. Norris over the radio still complaining. To be fair, they've come over the radio to Norris, say, how can we help? Do you have any pace? And Norris just says, no, I'm flat out. So Norris is trying as hard as he can, but 2.7 seconds is the gap between himself and Stroll, and he's unable to he's not even in the points for the sprint race here. It's not the best look for Lando Norris, of course, after winning the previous Grand Prix. Him ending up in 9th position is a bit of a surprise, to be honest. Sainz came into the pits, ladies and gentlemen. He had damage going down the main straight while getting in a battle with someone, and had to come into the pits because I think his front wing was too severely damaged. Yeah. All right. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so yep, here we've got Piastri and Verstappen. 8 tenths is the gap as they exit turn number 11. Once again, gaining a huge, huge issue. Piastri, however, he's 14 seconds ahead of his teammate in this sprint race. 14 seconds. That is a huge, huge margin. Yeah, and Piastri has been involved with battling Max Verstappen. The gap, 6.5 tenths, 4 tenths as they head towards the hairpin. Piastri is getting dangerously close here now. Very, very dangerously close. This could be a very exciting move as they now head towards the final corner. Piastri gets a very good exit. Max Verstappen does so as well. But the DRS flap for Oscar Piastri going towards turn number 1. What is it going to be? Is Piastri going to be able to send a move to the inside? Max Verstappen defends to the inside. Piastri tries to swoop round the outside, trying for the switchback, but Max Verstappen places his car absolutely perfectly. And Piastri can do absolutely nothing about it. But what am I saying? If Max Verstappen goes defensive, he compromises his line, and we're going to get some more racing between these two drivers for the final 6 laps of this race. Okay. Here we go then. How many people have we got watching the live stream here? We've got 19,000, 20,000 people watching the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hopefully we can hit 2,000 likes. We're only 15 likes away. It would very much be appreciated. Helps out the channel a lot. And yeah, let's wait and see. Okay, gap half a second here for Max Verstappen versus Oscar Piastri. Piastri looks like he's got more pace, to be honest, but we'll see if he can mount a move because he's been too busy doing tyre wear, conserving his tyres. I mean, everyone has. We've not seen a single fastest lap. You know, Hamilton set his first fastest lap at the start of the race, and nobody has dipped below that lap time because the tyres are just wearing out at such a huge rate. And Piastri once again right on the back of Verstappen. In fact, Verstappen knows that he doesn't even need to go defensive into the hairpin because Piastri's not trying to overtake him at the hairpin. He's going to try and overtake him at turn number 1. Here they are down the start-finish straight. We are entering lap number 15 of 19. What can Oscar Piastri do? The DRS flap is wide open, heading towards turn number 1. This time he is just a little bit too far back. Verstappen doesn't even go defensive on this occasion. He knows that if Piastri is going to have to get a move, he's going to have to brute force his way past. He's going to have to go side by side, send a dive bomb in. Otherwise, Verstappen is just going to take the normal racing line, and Piastri is going to be stuck in the dirty air. All right. Yeah. Okie dokes. So we've got 5,000 people tuned into the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning. Oh no, we've not got 5,000 people tuned into the live stream. We've got 20,000 people tuned into the live stream. Yeah. All right. The gap's further down the pack. Antonelli still trying to overtake Yuki Tsunoda, but no luck there for Kimi Antonelli. Tsunoda's doing a fantastic job in that racing ball. Honestly, I don't know who my driver of the day would be. Hamilton did a good job defending against Verstappen. That gap has now extended to 2.5 seconds. Verstappen's forgot about trying to get first place. He's now just focused on defending against Piastri. But yeah, we've hit our like target, so let's go ahead, smash the like button. Thank you everyone that's done that. Let's put the like target up to maybe 3,000. Yeah, why not? 3,500. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah. Back to the race. That gap half a second as they go down the straight. Piastri sent a brilliant move down the inside at the hairpin. Verstappen could do absolutely nothing about it. He tries to get the overtake done going into turn number 1, but nothing, absolutely nothing from Max Verstappen. Solid overtake from Oscar Piastri. I was slightly distracted there while it happened, but wow, what a move from Piastri, and there's absolutely nothing that Verstappen can do. He was gaining, just like Daniel Ricciardo, to be honest. Goes to the inside, super duper late on the brakes, and yeah, Oscar Piastri replicating his fellow Australian down the inside. See you later, thank you very much, and says toodaloo to Max Verstappen. Verstappen's going to try and fight this one back though, but look at that gap, already one full second. 1 second there between Piastri and Verstappen dropped off the back. We've got 4 laps left to go. I don't think Piastri's going to be catching Lewis Hamilton anytime soon, but let's keep our eyes peeled anyway. We've got Liam Lawson. He's still making some solid progress up into 15th place. Hadjar in 14th. Still, so Lawson is still behind both of the V-carbs for now. Yeah. What happened to Carlos Sainz? Carlos Sainz had to come into the pits. That's why he is so far back. Yeah. Very, very unfortunate there for him. Okie dokes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just putting a link to the qualifying stream into the chat. So go ahead and check that one out once this stream has finished. Yeah, okie dokes. But we've got 3 laps left of this race. Kimi Antonelli, he's trying to get a move here done on Yuki Tsunoda. They are side by side going into turn number 1, and Antonelli tries to go around the outside. Can he get this one done? Tsunoda defending the inside line with absolutely everything he can. Antonelli trying his absolute best around the outside, but it's just too long of a distance to go around the outside of Tsunoda, and also with the dirty air, the Mercedes just does not have the grip, and Antonelli is still stuck behind Yuki Tsunoda. Some great defensive driving from Tsunoda. Brilliant job. Wow. Fantastic. All right, Russell under pressure here from Charles Leclerc. Leclerc, of course, losing the position to Leclerc. Leclerc losing the position to Russell at the start of this race, and we're going to see if he can get this one back on lap number 17 of 19. The gap up at the front, 5 seconds. Lewis Hamilton's in the lead of this race, so we've got Max Verstappen in 1.6 seconds behind him, and Leclerc got DRS on Russell, but the gap nearly 1 second. It's going to be difficult to get this one. Ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is driver of the day? Honestly, maybe Yuki Tsunoda for me. He's done a fantastic job in that Racing Bull. Maybe Piastri, he's got a fantastic overtake against Lewis Hamilton. Maybe Hamilton. Let's wait and see. Lando Norris getting very close to overtaking Lance Stroll here. Will he be able to get that move done? I think he will. Norris has got this move done against Lance Stroll, and we'll see if he can hold him off if going into turn number 1. Who's got the DRS there? Stroll's got the DRS on this occasion. He's gaining against Lando Norris. He looks to the inside, but Lando Norris too far ahead. Got a perfect exit out of the final corner. Lance Stroll not so much a perfect exit, and so Norris has recovered from 9th place to 8th, but still 2 places lower than where he started this race, and it's not looking all that great for him. Yeah, only took him 18 laps. Exactly. So I don't know what's going on with Lando Norris. Don't know what's going on with the McLarens, to be fair. I would have expected the McLarens to be much more on the pace, but maybe it's setup issues. Maybe it's the change in mini DRS. Of course, I would like to clarify to everyone, the FIA changed the rules. They were going to change the rules about how flexible the rear wings are allowed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. However, they brought that rule change forward to the Chinese Grand Prix, and lo and behold, suddenly the McLarens pace that they were 4/10 of a second faster in quali last weekend out, that pace has just evaporated into nothingness. So it looks like we've got a great battle on our hands here. Lewis Hamilton 6 seconds ahead of Oscar Piastri going into the final lap of this race. Lap number 19 of 19 for Lewis Hamilton there. Okie dokes. Here we go then. Final lap of the race is underway. Charles Leclerc trying to get ahead of George Russell. That DRS flap opens right up as he crosses across the detection line. And going into turn number 1, 1/4 of a second back, looks right to the inside, but it is too difficult. The corner's too long, and he tries around the outside. In fact, getting super close here. He's basically pushing Russell through. Russell, they nearly have contact, front wing and rear diffuser from George Russell. And Leclerc's coming over the radio. We've got a problem at turn number 13. It's undrivable. Turn number 13 is the corner just before the main straight. And Leclerc tries to get the overtake done at turn number 6, but Russell goes defensive. It is getting very, very feisty between these two drivers. Let's see if Leclerc can get the final overtake done going into the hairpin. This is his final opportunity. The car's undrivable, apparently, out of turn number 13, but he's got to drive it through there. He's got to stay as close as possible as he can to George Russell. The gap extends out a little bit as they head towards turn number 11, but nothing that cannot be helped with the help of DRS. And let's wait and see what he can do. Ocon gets ahead of Bortoleto, but now all eyes on Charles Leclerc versus George Russell. 8 tenths is the gap as he exits the main straight, and he is gaining and gaining with the DRS wide open. Can he get the overtake done? No, he cannot. Lewis Hamilton comes out of the final corner to win the sprint race with Ferrari. A great start for him, winning the second race that he has been with Ferrari. Of course, it's a sprint race, but nonetheless, just like Sebastian Vettel at his time with Ferrari as well. Piastri comes across the line in second place, Max Verstappen in third, we got George Russell in fourth, Leclerc half a second back from George Russell, then we've got Tsunoda in sixth, Antonelli in seventh, Norris in eighth, Stroll in ninth, Alonso in 10th. And are we getting any final last laps, overtakes, last lap dive bombs from the back markers? Let's wait and see, but it looks like the positions have been finalised. Albon 11th, Gasly in 12th, Hadjar in 13th, Lawson 14th, Behrman 15th, Ocon 16th, Sainz up into 17th. I don't know how Sainz has overtook both of the Saubers right at the end. Bortoleto in 18th, Hulkenberg in 19th, and Jack Doohan in 20th. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the sprint race. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. I think there might have been an issue down at the final hairpin for the Saubers. Yeah, there was a spin. There was a spin at the back of the pack, I think. Gabriel Bortoleto spun around, Hulkenberg slowed down, and that's why Carlos Sainz got ahead. But thank you everyone for tuning in. There's a link to the qualifying stream there pinned in the chat, so go ahead and hit the like button on the qualifying stream. That would really help out the channel. I'm going to end the stream now, folks. I'm going to get a bit of rest. I'm on 3.5 hours of sleep, so but I'm going to end the stream now. I'll take you over to the race stream for tomorrow. Go ahead and hit the like button on that. It really does help out the channel. The YouTube algorithm loves it when you press the like button before the stream actually starts. Qualifying taking place in 3.5 hours. The stream will start in 3 hours time for qualifying, and then of course the sprint race, the full race tomorrow, 57 laps of racing. It is going to be some great action. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and tune into the qualifying stream if you're going to be awake. If not, I will see you for the race tomorrow. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, and thank you for hitting the like button if you have already on the future streams, and if you haven't, then be sure to do that. I will see you in a couple hours for qualifying.